Hi, this is Maria. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. I'm the editor here at MetaStellar, and AMIRA LOUTFI is our reviews editor. And the two of us are going to be talking about today's top 10 science fiction and fantasy books on Amazon. So we do this every Friday. So please, if you like this kind of thing, subscribe so you get the notifications, you get the videos as they come up, because these books go quick. Our authors set their books for free as a promotion, and then the price goes back to normal really, really quickly. So definitely something you want to stay on top of if you enjoy free books like we do. For those who are new to our channel, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction. All the content is always free to our readers, and we publish original science fiction, fantasy, and horror, reprints, excerpts, reviews, essays, a whole bunch of stuff of interest to the speculative fiction community. And it's all thanks to the generous support of our Patreon contributors. And the link is in the description box below. And right now until the end of March, so for the next 6 days, we have our spring submission period open, where you can submit your original short fiction, and it closes on March 31st, and the length is up to 1,200 words. So put that on your calendar if you haven't yet. All right, so let's get started. The first book on today's list, the top-selling free science fiction and fantasy book on Amazon, is Shield-Maiden, Under the Howling Moon by Melanie Karsak. And it's the first of 5 books in the Road to Valhalla Myth and Legend fantasy series. The other books are $8 to $9 each, and they are in Kindle Unlimited. And I read this book, and I really liked it. I did not expect to, but because it's this kind of historical fantasy kind of thing isn't really my sweet spot, but I really enjoyed it. Hervar is a warrior who lives with her mother and grandfather and the rest of her extended family. Her father is a chieftain, the Jarl. She's got a bad relationship with him because she wants to be a fighter, a shield maiden, a warrior, and she's good at it. And he just wants her to hang around in dresses and look pretty, even though she saves his life and the life of the whole family. But she's not like whiny about it. She's very dedicated. She has a mentor who's training her. She's got plans. She does what she needs to do for her family, for her village, for her own mission, because she has a mission from God. And it is really cool. She's a tough character. I love her relationships with other people. I love her competency and her strength. She is really, really cool. I really enjoyed reading this, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the book and possibly the rest of the series. And next, we've got Memoirs of a Time Traveler by Doug Molitar, the first of 4 books in the Amazon Time Travel Sci-Fi series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And AMIRA, you read this one. What did you think?
I read it a long time ago, maybe about a year ago, but I really liked it. And initially when I saw the cover, I was like, what? I had no recollection, but I totally remember this book. I didn't actually come back to finish it, but I remember that it was exciting, that it actually made me feel excited, which I think is good. And the characters were interesting. We start off with this famous baseball player whose life is falling apart. He is about to get cut from the team, and he's also like bothering his ex-girlfriend or his ex-fiance, and the brother of the ex-fiance is trying to tell him he has to leave her alone. So I kind of enjoy that, like, kind of dramatic, character who's like powerful and famous, and then has like, failure, I guess. I feel like that's really interesting. But then other than that, there also are some really exciting cases of, or like suggestions and hints that there's some time travel going on. So I found those suggestions or those clues to be like really exciting. And yeah, and we also had a review from Melody Friedenthal, and she sounds like she really loved it.
Yeah, and
So
she's our copy editor.
yeah, she's a
Yes.
copy
Yes,
editor.
she copy edits these articles every single Friday. And so she has to read our reviews every week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you, Melody, if you're
so she focused on the archaeology aspects of this book.
yeah, yeah. She was excited about the fencing, the time travel, and the archaeology, and the linguistics. There's also a linguistic element that she found exciting. Yeah.
All
So
right. Okay, moving on. We have Coco and Curses. And let's see if I can show it to you. There we go. I've been using Zoom for like what, 3 years now. I still haven't figured out how to like do everything on it. But anyway, Coco and Curses by Julie Nisse, the first of 5 books in the Witches of Noah Lodge paranormal fiction mystery series. The other books are $5 each, and they're in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a cozy magical mystery. A woman just turned 41. Her marriage is over. She comes back to her hometown, her tiny little hometown, somewhere outside of Seattle, and there's magic in the town. And the first day back, she, her grandmother, and her niece find a corpse in her grandmother's backyard. And the grandmother is the prime suspect because the grandmother threatened the guy that she was going to kill him the next time she was going to see him. And she's been having memory lapses, so maybe she killed them and forgot she did it, which is a fun premise. I'm enjoying it, and it is my kind of book. It's not quite as light and funny and fluffy as I'd like it to be, and it's very much a standard type of book of the genre. Woman comes back to her small town, meets a hot guy from her childhood while solving a murder. It always happens. But sometimes that's what you want, right?
apparently a lot of the time.
And next we've got Soulbound by Bethany Adams. And I also read this one. It's the first of 9 books in the Return of the Elves coming of age fantasy series. The other books are $1 to $4 each. The 9th book is currently available for pre-order and will be coming out in May. And they're not in Kindle Unlimited. So I'm not really into coming of age books, and I also read this a while ago, but I started reading it again because I forgot that I had already read it. So Arlen's mother died, and wants her to go and find her father, and her father is an elf, and he is in the other world, and she has to go through a portal to find him. And in her day job, Arlen works selling bows at Renaissance fairs. So she spends months searching for him before she finally finds him. And and meanwhile there's drama about somebody is trying to attack another elf, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with the Elven Kingdom, and the guy who's trying to find this out is probably going to end up with Arlen. So I was a little annoyed by the fact that the author skipped over the whole years that she spent searching the Elven realm for her dad, and just like skipped over that. And I wasn't that compelled by the main character. I do like Renaissance fairs. My brother plays music at them, but it wasn't enough to pull me in. Next, we have a book called Stormwielder by Hodges, the first of 9 books in the Three Nations Nordic Myth and Legend fantasy series. The other books are $4 to $6 each and are in Kindle Unlimited. So another Norse Legends book. There seems to be a trend for that this week. And my brother Alex read this one. And he says, you've got a man on a quest in a dangerous world full of gods and demons. And the main character gets a direct visit from a goddess. He's on a, and she tells him to find his lost family. But someone else has found him first. He can go reunite with them if he helps someone else first. So so it's a little confusing, but he says that it's a great fantasy adventure stories, and if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, then check it out. Next is a book that I read, First Blade by Jane Hinchey, the first of 3 books in the Awakening urban fantasy series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And so the book starts right in the middle of a battle. Zach's house is being attacked. Zach has magical abilities, and he and his men are fighting off demons, and they win the battle. But at the end of the battle, one of Zach's men notices that the ring Zach wears is glowing red. And Zach's like, oh, that means that a dagger has been found and activated with blood. And I was guessing that it's some kind of mystical magical dagger, and it portends doom for all. And then we go on to the next chapter, and we meet Georgia. And she's the one who found the dagger because she was cleaning stuff up in the stables, and she found this hidey hole, stuck her hand in it, got cut, and that's where she found the dagger. And then over the course of the following month, every night she has dreams about get this, I'm quoting directly here, a man who is the epitome of sensuality, male magnetism, and allure. And she's wondering if I know you're scowling, AMIRA. Well, they can't tell, but I can see you. So she thinks her dreams are being invaded and tries to drown them out in alcohol. Always a good strategy. So in this world, there's werewolves and there's magic. And Georgia has a best friend who's a werewolf, and he's a local cop. And she has the ability to see visions. She can touch a person and see a glimpse of the future. She and her sister run an antique shop in town. And a few years earlier, she bought 5 acres of land 20 minutes out of town with a derelict farmhouse on it. And she's personally renovated, because she's a carpenter. She was renovated this farmhouse. And so she's competent and capable, a little bit of an alcoholic, but these days, who isn't? So I don't like the romance storyline, because Zach shows up, he buys the house next door, and he turns out to be a famous best-selling novelist, and she loves his books. So I'm guessing that they're going to get together. So I'm not a fan of the romance plot, but she herself seems like a fun character to spend time with. And I do like this kind of urban fantasy genre. So maybe. All right. Next we have Knights, Witches, and Murder by R.M. Schultz, the first of 2 books in the fantasy mystery thriller series. And there's the sequel is not in Kindle Unlimited. So Amira, you read this book. What did you think?
I really liked it. The tone is somber. Um, it's set in a secondary world with magic, and it's really snowy. So, and also there's a robust religious order that mirrors the Catholic Church. Um, and yeah, the main character is this mysterious man with a dark past. Um, and he's like also kind of religious. We start out seeing him praying at a in a grave site, right? And it turns out that he has a history of being involved with magic. His mother was a witch, and these guys, the religious order in this book, they do not like magic. But whenever they have some kind of supernatural magical problem, guess who they call? The guy with the magical history, of course. So um, I didn't really get to the part where I would say it's like thrilling, but um, I really liked the setting and the tone. I thought that this author like really hit the nail on the head with what they were trying to go for. Um, and let me see. Okay, so um, the main plot thread that I see forming is that he is called out to check on a strange, like a supernatural occurrence, right? And he finds a bunch of dead sheep that have like glowing red eyes that are like having smoke coming out of them, and they have strange markings on their hooves. So, I mean, it starts off with like a mysterious, problem, right? But I wasn't curious enough about like the problem itself, so I'm probably not going to be back. But and also I'm not usually drawn to like the mystery genre, right?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I really love the setting and the writing style itself. I feel like, you know, um, it's good. It's a really good one. Yeah, I recommend it for people who like mysteries and like kind of a serious, kind of cool tone.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what's next on the list. Um, Starship Alexander by Jake Elwood. The first of three books in the Hive Invasion science fiction series. The other books are $4 each and are in Kindle Unlimited. And the person who read them is Alexander, my brother. So he says that he got like 7 chapters in without a single shot fired or seeing a single alien, hostile or otherwise. And he was pretty disappointed because the book is supposed to have aliens and spaceship battles in it. So the story is that the Alexander is a relic. It's an old warship that's left over after war between Earth and some outer colony planets long ago. It's about to be decommissioned. The captain's about to retire, and it's going on one last trip, a training mission to give some cadets one last chance to serve in a real warship. So one last mission before retirement, right? That never goes well. So, and something goes wrong. So the jump gates are failing, and without jump gates, travel between planets is a lot slower. And so there's a mystery about what's happening, and Alex says that it starts out really slow. You're getting to know the characters on the ship, and he kind of likes to get right into the middle of the action a little bit quicker. But if you do like to get to know people before they start killing aliens, then this is the book for you. All right. Next, we have The Last Shadow Knight by Michael Webb, the first of 3 books in the Shadow Knight's young adult epic fantasy trilogy. And the 3rd book's coming out in August. So I read this one, and It is a young adult book. The protagonist is a teenage kid, an orphan, and a thief in a fantasy city, and his best friend is killed when they're trying to rob a tax collector by mistake. They thought it was somebody else's house and it was empty. Um, and um, he's trying to rob another guy's house. When the other guy figures out who he is, and it turns out that Varen is the son of a shadow knight, and the guy whose house he was trying to rob was the last living shadow knight, but no one knows that he's still alive. And these shadow knights are like, as far as I can tell, like magical mystical ninjas that used to fight on behalf of the kingdom, but they were all killed off. And his father was one of them, and they're not supposed to have kids, which is why he was raised in an orphanage, and his mother died in childbirth. So this old guy is going to take him under his wing. And meanwhile, we switch back and forth to the point of view of another teenager in the same city, Brixton, who couldn't be more different. Brixton's father is the Lord of Commerce, and he's a rich jerk. And the kid himself, Brixton, is kind of an okay kid. He wants to have a bakery. He doesn't want to follow in his dad's footsteps, and he'd rather be nice to people. So the story is kind of slow to get going, but the world building is very rich and complex. You definitely do feel the city come alive. And I don't think that I'm gonna stick with it. But you read this one too, right, Amira?
Yeah.
And you got a different take on it.
Yeah. So I felt that it was fast paced. That's like the biggest difference I can see. Yeah, I felt it was fast paced, and I have the impression that it's gonna have a happy ending, that the good guys are gonna, unite. The two boys are probably gonna team up and maybe kill the king, right? Um, so I guess like I'm kind of expecting, like from what I read, I expect it to be kind of like have a happy ending. So I feel like maybe I should go for it. I should keep reading it, is what I'm thinking.
All right. And the last we have Project Quetzalcoatl by Jonathan Maas, if I pronounce it right. So it's a standalone novella, but it's part of the bigger world, Kulka's Angel of the Neanderthals series. And this is novella, and I read like probably half of it, actually almost exactly half of it, before I finally gave up because I didn't understand what was going on. So the story it's set in the far future, and the main character, Dexel, is like a troubleshooter. And at the beginning of the book, he's trying to save a brachiosaur. So I guess this is Jurassic Park kind of thing where they're bringing back dinosaurs from the dead. And the brachiosaur is about to hatch an egg in the lagoon, and another dinosaur, mosasaur, wants to get at it. And he and a bunch of super intelligent dolphins are out there trying to keep the mosasaur away. And I'm just like really confused by this, because why would they bring these two dinosaurs back if they didn't want them to kill each other, like in the same place anyway, so and the backstory here is, and we get this in the forward, that some angels destroyed human society in order to eradicate all remnants of Neanderthal genetics. And I don't understand what any of that has to do with the dinosaurs. But it doesn't matter, because he's being shipped off to another planet where a bunch of colonists have gotten into the god Quetzalcoatl, and one of them disappeared, and he's going to be sent to troubleshoot what's going on, and it's a one-way trip. And so the tone of the book changes like radically from forward to the beginning section to, you know, when the story gets going. And I'm really confused about it. I don't have a good sense of Dexel as a character, or what this world is all about, and why, and if this is like our future or some other world's future, and who these angels are. And I am like very confused about everything that's going on here, and I'm not going to stick with a book. So that is the story for today. But definitely I've got plenty of reading for this weekend. And I read a couple of the books from last week too. So, and I finished them and I had a lot of fun with it. So, oh, you had to ask. I've already forgotten. Hold on, I will tell you in case you guys are in case you guys want to know. Yeah. let me look that up. So it was maybe not from last week, maybe from the week before. Oh, Rerolled. Yeah, Robin Weideman. It's a lit RPG book, and I read that book and the next one in the series, the only other one in the series. And I had a lot of fun with both of them. They were about a guy who's been in an accident and he's in a wheelchair, and he goes to live in a virtual world. And he turns out he forms a guild with a bunch of other people who are also like on medical support machines, because they can be in the world full time. And there's an interesting subplot in there about how the non-player characters, the AI generated players, are actually much more human-like than you would expect. And maybe they should be treated with some decency. So it's a building game kind of thing where they're building a village and mining and stuff. But I love that. And I really like that genre. So anyway, I recommend those books too. If you haven't checked them out yet and was wondering about them, I did like them, and I read them both, and they're both in Kindle Unlimited. It costs money now, but if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Like I said, books lose their freebie status pretty quickly on Amazon. All right, so I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their generous contributions. And if you like this kind of content, please support our channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. And what do you think of these books? Have you read any of them? Have you tried to read any of them? Let us know in the comments below. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.